It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
No time to dilly-dally today. I apologize. This is going up later than usual on a Monday. That might not matter to most of you. I'm recording this on a Monday. I had a busy morning, and I just want to get into it. We're just going to call someone. I've got beef with one of my buddies today, and that buddy is my buddy Rob. So we're going to get into that in a second. Later today, I've got some thoughts on Disney because something happened this weekend around my kids, and I've got beef today. I've got beef with Rob. I've got beef with Disney, but we are going to celebrate something I did this weekend that was a blast from the past, something I loved. But let's call Rob real quick. I'm kind of mad at him. My buddy Rob Sacre, former Gonzaga Bulldog, former Los Angeles Laker, former Sun Rocker, and I think maybe former friend of mine. Let's see if he answers. He said he was on the bathroom.
What up, player?
Hey, sweetheart, I have beef with you.
Okay, talk to me.
I'm recording on the podcast right now, so you don't have to really mind your P's and Q's, but just know that...
Never do.
Just
I
know.
never do.
Why did you never
Who's
tell...
listening to your show anyway?
It's Kevin, you... No, you don't. So Kevin, Jack Ferris, and me.
Okay, cool. I'm just confirming.
Okay. I'm mad at you. Why did you never teach me about Bourre?
Did you play?
I played Bourre, a card game, the other night, and the guy goes...
Why would you play that game?
He goes, this is a Louisiana card game. And I thought, well, I have a couple people in my life who I love from Louisiana, you being one of my favorite humans, and you're from Louisiana, and I've never heard about this game.
Yeah, and how much money did you lose?
I was the winner, Rob. But I could see how that game, you could lose a lot of money really, really fast.
I've heard stories of former players. The biggest pot I've heard someone have to pay is $325,000.
Oh my goodness, Rob! Because it's insane. The game is wild. It's wild, and I thought this is a Rob Sacre. We had some great barbecues. We had some great barbecues at your house, and they never included Bourre.
I refuse to play that game.
What?
That is and then here is the coldest part. And I don't know if you've described how the game plays or whatnot, but the coldest part is guys will purposely lose to ante up the pot.
Yeah. Which one of your kids is not liking Bourre right now?
Oh, the youngest. She's fine.
Okay.
She's fine.
Okay.
You're all right. Get up.
So they'll lose on purpose because they want the pot to get bigger, so people have to match it, and they can win like $300,000.
Correct.
Man, you are a dad.
Correct.
You are a dad right now.
Yeah.
Remember when we didn't have kids?
No, many years ago.
Remember that?
I was too young. I had a kid so young. I don't even know what that feels like.
You did have him young, dude. You had him really young. Okay, Rob, one last thing for you because I was thinking of you today, which is never good. I had to go to the doctor. I had to go to a skin doctor today just for a checkup, right? Because I'm old, and they like to check your skin. They like to check your moles. And I sat down, and the girl goes, okay, just take your shirt off and your socks and shoes off. And I thought, this isn't what anyone needs. Like, no one needs...
Like, I can't see my toes.
Yeah.
I can't see my feet.
I'm like, why? You don't need me to take my shirt off, ma'am. Like, this is not... I thought, this is why Rob looks like he looks, so that you can go to the doctor and feel okay about your checkups.
You're damn right. Well, I just want to feel good about myself.
Well, yeah, Rob, I didn't today. Thanks so much. First of all, one of my good friends doesn't even let me know about a great Louisiana card game. And then second of all, he comes back in my thoughts.
I'm telling you, that card game, I would always sit and watch some of the other. They warn you right before you get to the NBA about that game.
Wait, is that what they'd play?
They warn you.
Is that what they'd play in the airplane?
Yes.
No, so they tell you don't play Bourre with the guys on the plane.
If you're not willing to lose money, don't play that game. That's like the first game they warn you about not playing.
No way. Why didn't?
Yeah, because it's a spiraling. It spirals out of control quick.
Did you ever watch would guys play it on the Lakers plane?
Oh, yeah, and I'd see guys purposely lose So they'd get the pot up to a certain thing, and then they would like no one wants to match the pot.
Right.
You know, that was the whole thing. You got to match that pot if you. Oof.
Was there an instigator? Was there like because we know all the good basketball players, was there like a really good card player on the team that you were like, don't mess with him?
I would say Jordan Farmar.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it. He seems kind of crafty, right? He seems like the crafty guard.
Yeah, no, I'd say definitely Jordan Farmar if it was anybody.
That is hilarious, dude. Meanwhile, you're in the back of the plane doing who knows what.
I'm watching. I'm behind them. I'm just sitting there watching. I'm not getting involved. I've seen how that goes.
Did you? I mean, I could see it leading to fights, so that's why I don't want anything to do with it. Like the guy who told us, he goes
into fights. There's definitely fights. I've heard about guys not being able to play next games. Not on my team, but in other teams where they get the kicked out of them by another teammate.
Yeah, dude.
And they keep that over I'm talking 125,000.
Jeez, Rob, that's insane, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I missed it. I also started thinking I need to at some point talk to you about the I don't even know what you called it. The big boil you had. It wasn't like a crawfish boil. You made like a big stew almost.
Gravy.
It's a gravy. That's what it's called, a gravy?
That was gravy. It's a gravy. Look at you. You have your radio voice on.
Oh, Rob Sacre. My guy, Rob Sacre here.
I know. It's adorable.
Hey,
no, a gravy. I got a gravy. I haven't made one in a while, but I'm going to make an oxtail gravy here soon.
Dude, it was so good. I will tell you, two. So there's another guy who lives in Spokane, Steve, my buddy Steve. He's friends with Marcus and those guys. And he makes.
Everybody has a buddy named Steve.
Dude, he does a crawfish boil. And he does a shrimp boil.
Ooh.
Because he's from Louisiana. Rob, it rocked my world. And when he made it, I said, the only other New Orleans guy or Louisiana guy that I know made a gravy, and it was just as good. You guys love big pots. That's what you love.
Yeah, no, you want to cook and you want to have. It's the experience of cooking. It's not just the eating. It's the enjoying, drinking, having a good time while cooking.
Yeah.
That's where you want it.
Right, because all of these things take hours to do. So you can just kind of sit around in a lawn chair and love life.
Yes, amen. That's why Louisiana people are the happiest people on earth.
I can't argue it. The ones I know are the best. Dude, everything else is good with you?
Life is good. It's just raining in beautiful Spokane, but I can't complain. And, life is busy, man. I'm just herding cats. You understand what that feels like?
I do. 82 degrees and hot here in horse country.
Complete opposite.
Yeah, 82.
60, I think. It's like 60 and wet.
You going to come out here and look at horses someday?
I do need to. I've been talking to my business partner about that. I need to come out there and look at some ponies. I'm trying to sell my house.
Wait a second. Wait. We've gone back and forth about this a million times, and it's never.
No, I want out. I want further. I want more land, and then they're building too much around me.
So you just want to get out to the middle of nowhere.
Well, not in the middle of nowhere, but I don't want to be where everything is around me now. Like people are pulling up in my driveway and all that. We've talked about this.
We have. We've talked. But here's the thing. You still have one of my favorite stories of driving out to the middle of nowhere and ending up on some dude's crazy property. You don't need to be middle of nowhere, bro.
Oh, I do. I want to be the guy with the property that someone pulls up into mine I go, what the hell are you doing here? There will be clothing will be extremely optional at Rob's house. This big old Sasquatch.
Oh, it just rolls out of his. You're immediately going to start chewing tobacco, though. I feel like once you get in property, because you'll have to spit something.
I've been chewing since I was 14. I'm just trying to stop now.
Such a bad
in my life.
It's such a bad habit, Rob. I hate giving you credit for things. I love you to death. I hate giving you credit for things, though. Dude, you are really, really good at stopping and starting, like stopping bad habits and starting good habits. And I've always been very jealous of that.
Well, it's just, dude, I'm done. I'm over it. And obviously I miss it every once in a while if I'm in the yard or doing some excavation shit. But for the most part, it's like, all right, I'm done. I don't need it.
Yeah.
It's not going to make me better.
Yeah. No, you're right. And it was because we had a good little run of going out and having a good time out and about. And you finally just we're done. We're done doing it. And And I was like, that was, and it wasn't like you eased out of it. You were just like, it's done. Let's rip the Band-Aid. Yeah. We're done. And I thought, okay, that's it. That was easy for Rob.
Well, there's no point of making it last any longer. So just get it done. Get it done. Be done and be over with.
Yeah, it's amazing. One last thing for you. Which game is harder on your body? Bourre, because that one hits your wallet, or horse races with Tyler?
With
Tina.
Horse races. There's a lot of alcohol involved.
Dude, as much as Bourre might hit you in the wallet, the horse races with Tina will ruin your life.
Yeah, will ruin your life, which I need to call Tina, and if I do it again, we're going ham.
Yeah. Well, wait till I'm back visiting one time, and we'll go and we'll just have him set it up, invite everybody. I will, we found Micah in the middle of the parking lot later that night, just standing there because horse races went so.
Oh, I was just like, you found Micah recently? I was like,
no, remember that night we were leaving and Micah's just standing in the middle of the parking lot. We're like, are you all right? He's like, dude, I think. Those horse races kick your butt. They absolutely kick your butt.
They're the worst. They're the worst. Well, I love you. I'm glad your show's actually people are listening to it.
Yeah.
And, I want to be a guest for a full-time episode.
Yeah, let's do that soon. We'll do that soon. I will do it with video and everything so everyone can see your beautiful smiling face and you make me laugh, and we'll get on that. My brother, it's always good to hear your voice. Thanks for answering my dumb calls.
Love you, brother.
See you, Robert. There he is, Rob Sacre. I love him. His Lakers stories, they're my favorite stories when he does his Lakers stories. Okay, so that would just kind of happen right off the bat to kick the podcast off, and I'm mad at Rob because of this Bourre game. So I've had really good times with Rob. Rob Sacre is one of my nearest and dearest friends. He is someone who I've always been able to count on, and who's always like, you get those friends who are just there for you when you need them. And Rob's always a phone call away. Rob's always, back when I lived in Spokane, he was a drive away. Whether he was coming to my house or I was going to his house, like, that dude is just a solid dude and a good example of friendship. Rob Sacre was. I love him, but we had some really good times together, and Rob would have some really good barbecues at his house, whether it was these gravies he'd make where they'd get this huge pot and just slowly make this gravy and start throwing meats into it. And you just watch it thicken, and the smell was spectacular. The whole yard was filled with the smell of this gravy. And it's just good Louisiana cooking, right? But we'd have these big barbecues. They'd last all afternoon and night. And we'd just sit around and talk and catch up, and people would, there sometimes, I remember one time there was cards there, but I know people weren't playing Bourre. And now I've learned this game Bourre that I learned this weekend at my buddy Mike's house. And our buddy, we're playing this game called Tonk at my buddy Mike's house. And everyone brings change, and Tonk is a pretty basic game, pretty easy game. I don't even know. It's maybe like Rummy a little bit. Anyways, you can Google Tonk. And so we're playing this, and we've got our pennies and quarters and nickels and dimes out. We're not Jordan Farmar with hundreds of thousands of dollars. And Chris at our table goes, okay, it's time to learn a new game. It's called Bourre. It's a Louisiana gambling game. And it is one that they say don't play because it can lead to knife fights. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, because it gets really intense. So people who play it can lead to legitimate fights. You heard Rob say some of this game can lead to fights. You heard Rob say when you go to the NBA, they warn you not to play Bourre. And the reason why is the way the game works. It's a trick taking card game like Trump, like spades, okay? And the gambling works, everyone antes into the pot. So let's say you could put $1 in. Everyone puts $1 in, and then you play your hand. You get to see your hand, and if you like it, you can stay in the game. If you don't like it, you can fold, all right? And so then everyone who stays in, you play your hand. And so let's say there's 6 people playing, there's $6 in the pot, right? If somebody wins the majority of the tricks, so 5 cards to each person, if someone wins 3 tricks or 2 tricks and everyone else wins 1, whatever it might be, you get it. You win the most, you get the pot, okay? You get the money from the middle. If 2 people tie, the money stays in the middle and you play the next round, okay? And so the pot grows. But the way the pot really grows, if you stay in and play the game, right, you get 0 tricks. you have to immediately match all the money that's in the middle, and you have to put that in. So if there's $6 in the middle, you get 0, and the pot stays there. You have to throw $6 in the middle on top of it. Well, I guess even if someone wins it. If you get 0 tricks and you stayed in the game, you match whatever the pot is. So this can grow exponentially, right? Like you start with 6. Let's say no one wins it. Next round, everyone antes back in. Let's say there's $12 in the pot. You stay in. You don't get any tricks. You now owe the pot $12. So it can grow quickly. The game is very fun. We had a great time playing it. All right, there's Rob talking about Bourre. This was way too long. I don't know why. Sorry, Rob, for calling you, dude. And all of a sudden, Rob uncomfortable about talking about taking his shirt off. It was a moment today. I had to go in for a little checkup, and the lady, nice gal, younger gal, just trying to get through a work day, looking at gross old men. She's like, go ahead, take your shirt off and your shoes and socks. And I was like, really? I was like, yeah, really? We've been eating pretty well here at the Widmer house. I don't know that, like Rob said, I can't see my toes. I don't know that you need this. It's just like, take your shirt off and sit down, and everything's just kind of there. I'm like, can I like stand up and suck my stomach in? Would that be better for everything? And the guy the doctor was hilarious. I'm like, dude, this is me. I'm 42. This is me now. And he was super nice. Like you could see through him talking. He's like, yeah, dude, you're way out of shape, but everything's looking good. And it's super nice. Nicest guy. But what a job to look at people's skin all day, right? I don't have the worst skin in the world. I do not have the best skin. I got my issues. I got my blemishes, but I can't imagine all day you're just sitting there and it's like, hey doc, look at my open wounds. You're wound differently when you're a dermatologist. Okay, what did I want to talk about? I think I'm going to push the Disney talk to Wednesday. I don't want to make this too long. I have an issue with something Disney did. I'm not really mad at them. I guess it's not really a beef. I'm just bummed out because they had something that I don't think they capitalized enough on. We'll save that for next podcast. Let's get into Kelly's What Are You Into?
Kelly's What Are You Into?
We do this at the end of every podcast, right before we read the comments, and we just take a look at something that I'm into, right? This is something that I did for a while on the podcast, stopped doing it, and our good friend Kelly, a supporter of the podcast and listener of the podcast, someone who I value immensely, she said, look, bring back the What Are You Into segment of your podcast. I really enjoyed it. And I love when there's feedback on the podcast. So we brought it back a while ago, and we named the segment after Kelly. So it's Kelly's What Are You Into? And we talk about things we're into at the end of the podcast. You can send in your What Are You Intos by going to Sean'sLife.com. There's a big comment box there. You can, if you listen on Spotify, you can comment on this episode. We read the comments from this episode on the next episode. Or if you watch it on YouTube, ladies who love the beautiful Rob Sacre, next time he's on, we'll actually get him on video. He's a good-looking chap, and I like to make him uncomfortable about it. But you can go to the YouTube video, comment there, and we'll read the comments off of YouTube as well. But yeah, if you have a Kelly's What Are You Into? If you have something you're into, you want to let everyone know about it, that's the place to do it. Did we do it? Did we explain it there in long form fashion? Good. What am I into right now? I did it this weekend. We went swimming at my in-laws on Sunday. Took the kids, tried to get, my wife is, all the way pregnant. We are less than a month, right about a month away from baby time. We are here. It's happening. And my wife was she's just, feeling like, let's just get this over with. She's tired. And we've got 2 little kids who don't need to be bothering her 24/7. So Sunday afternoon, I just thought, let's take a nap. I'm going to get the kids out of the house, enjoy the afternoon, try to relax a little bit. I know she can't get comfortable, but I know that you are going to be it's less likely to get comfortable when my son Huck is climbing all over you. So I got the kids. We went over to my in-laws' house to go swimming. And it was kind of overcast, but something that hasn't happened in my life since I was a kid growing up in Venezuela happens in Lexington. And I've missed it because I went from Venezuela back up to the Pacific Northwest, and it would get cold there. And this experience I didn't get to have a lot in Spokane. but that is a sort of a tropical rain. And I wouldn't say it's tropical in Lexington. We had tropical rains in Venezuela where it's raining, but it's 70 or in the 75 degrees, 80 degrees. It would rain in Venezuela when it was in the 80s. And even with it being overcast and cloudy, it was still hot. In Spokane, I felt like if the sun wasn't out, it was not hot. So when it rained, it wasn't really fun to be in the rain because it was cold. I missed this, and I kind of forgot about it. And so we were swimming, and it got overcast, and it started raining, and I kind of was like, let's get out. And I realized, oh, no, you can be in the rain here and not be freezing cold. And it took me back to being a kid, and one of my favorite things, I don't know if it was my sister's, but I remember loving this with my sister. We would go to this, I don't even want to know how gross it was now. To us, we didn't know better. I'm sure my mom and dad knew better, but we went to this place called Aguas Calientes in San Antonio, Táchira, Venezuela. And it was this little hotel that, again, had to just be disgusting. But to us, it was great, and they had a huge pool. And so occasionally during summer, we would get to go there. It was about an hour drive out of our little town of Rubio. And we'd go and we'd spend the day, or maybe we'd spend the night at Aguas Calientes, and we'd get to spend 2 days in the pool. It was great. It was awesome. And in classic Venezuela fashion, it would start raining. And I remember loving being in this huge pool when it rained. And Aaron and I would love it. You would go and you'd like get underwater and you'd hear the rain, or you'd like almost feel the drops, and you'd come back out and it'd be pouring on you, but it wasn't cold. There was something cool about it. And I felt like it was unique. I remember with Kenny Beefus, we would go to, there was a couple ponds in our area we could ride our bikes to, or we'd go on like a little trip up to, we'd go on a trip to like a little lake, and you'd just swim in it for a little bit, and it would rain on those, and it never stopped you from swimming. And I loved that. And it was fun over the weekend to kind of relive that part of my past where I got to swim while it was raining and remember that there's something fun and magical about the rain to me. I love the rain. I love the sound of it. I love the smell of it. And I had missed, because in Spokane, like I said, it was cold when it rained. I'd missed being out in the rain. I'd missed it. And so it was really fun to be in the rain. Now, for a lot of you listening, you're like, this makes no sense to me, because maybe you live in an area where it is warm and rains, and you are like, oh, wait, what are you talking about? Well, let me tell you, it stinks when you can't be in the rain because it's freezing cold. And that's what I'd been dealing with for the last 20 years of my life. Okay, let's wrap up this wonderful episode of the Sean Widmer podcast by reading some comments. I've got 3 of them off Spotify. Let's get to them. We start with this one from Yvonne. Yvonne says, Warriors come out to play. Favorite line in the end. Totally improvised. I'm watching CSI New York now. Watched it back then. Loving it still today. Liked all CSIs except Miami because of David Caruso. David Caruso wasn't terrible, Yvonne. I felt like CSI Miami was okay. Right? He was really cheesy, but that kind of was great. I am with you, though, Yvonne. Heyday CSI was so good. Oh, my gosh. Grisham and just CSI Las Vegas. I love that. So I never got into CSI New York. I watched CSI, the original one, and like I said, loved it. And then I watched CSI Miami, because I think that was the order they came out. And I actually liked CSI Miami. But Yvonne, I love that you're going back and watching that. That is hilarious. And your second time through. That was a great show. Great show. You have great taste, Yvonne. Dylan said this. My wife started doing Friday night pizza and movie. Kids and I look forward to it all week. My wife makes delicious homemade pizza. After a long week, nothing beats family time pizza and a movie. Dylan, go off, King. You are so right about that. Nothing beats it. That's a great way to end the week. I would like to eventually get to the spot where we're doing the individual pizzas. I think that sounds fun. It just sucks. My daughter doesn't like pizza. But my wife and I have done it a couple times where you just make my wife doesn't make the dough. I don't know how to make the dough. Dylan, it sounds like your wife maybe makes the dough. We would get the dough from Yolks. Latah Yolks. Shout out to the Spokane people. Go to Latah Yolks, buy the pizza dough. It's really good. And we'd make the little personal pan ones, and they were so good. So I love that idea. Friday night pizza night, Yeah, it's the best. And Ian said this, is it too much to ask for Monday episode to do a Sean Widmer's One Bite, Everyone Knows the Rule, but Frozen Pizza Fridays? Yeah, stealing from Portnoy, the pizza review guy. I mean, I can give you reviews. I don't want to steal from him, but I can give you reviews on the pizzas. One of the ones, so the one I had this Friday was Sam's Club. So let me just look it up real quick. Sam's Club pepperoni pizza. I want to make sure that's what it was. I think that's where my wife got it. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I need to look at what it was. Oh, you know what? I think it was, was it Tombstone? I actually don't remember what it was, but it was good. Very basic, generic. I didn't spice it up at all. Just a normal pepperoni pizza, and it was good. But I don't have the brand. I think it was Sam's Club. Whatever the Sam's Club, because I think my wife got it from there. But I don't know all the way. Thank you for everyone who commented. I appreciate it. Thank you to people who are listening. It means a lot. Thank you to Rob Sacre for answering my dumb phone call. Love you, Rob.